I'm trying to go live on TikTok also. I guess I'm already this is hard to go live on 2 things. How do I do this? Does anyone else do live streaming and you try to go live on 2 different apps? This is not they're asking for my birth date on TikTok. This is all right, are we good? What's my date of birth? I just gave you my date of birth. This is ridiculous. Oh, I'm gonna have to start this over. I'm gonna have to abandon ship on TikTok. Somebody was telling me going live on TikTok is the way to go, so I'm trying to do that. But facial recognition. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's give that to China. That's a great idea. Okay, let's see. Does it work? Keep my glasses on. Okay. This is great. I'm sure this is great for content. People are riveted by me trying to figure out how to go live on TikTok. Move closer. Okay. I'm getting closer. That's me. Now China has my facial recognition. I'm sure that nothing bad will happen with that. Oh, is my age confirmed? Yeah, that's all they were doing. Sure. Okay. So yeah, we're live. We're live on YouTube. We're live on TikTok. This is great stuff. Talking about the Seahawks and the Super Bowl. It's always crazy as a fan, lifetime Seahawks fan, as long as I can remember from when I was like a little kid. But I just remember and this is how long I've been a fan since I remember these guys. Like this guy was Cortez Kennedy, Hall of Famer, was a great player for the Seahawks, but we were terrible. I've got the what's this? Chris Warren, yeah. I ended up interviewing him on my podcast too at one point. He's a cool guy, but man, the Seahawks were so bad. You don't understand. Like people, if you're a Browns fan or if you're a fan of a terrible sports team, don't abandon hope because I never thought in my lifetime that the Seahawks would, first of all, ever even get to a Super Bowl. Second of all, to actually win one and now to win two, to go to 4 Super Bowls and win 2 of them. It's insane. Like if you had a time machine and went back to someone in the 80s or 90s and tried to explain that to a Seahawks fan, they would just be like, they'd look at you like you're crazy. Like, what? We're gonna have like almost like a dynasty in a way. Like it's crazy. So that's really neat. It's fun to experience that twice. I don't take it for granted. I think the first time that, your team wins a Super Bowl, it's like kind of surreal. And the second time, it's not that you expect it, but it's not the same as that first time. That first time is just so magical. But yeah, of course it's great to see that. I mean, it's just I'm always if you're not a sports fan, I think you should stick around because I think I can explain this in a way that people can relate to it. It's just cool to be inspired by people at that level of excellence of anything. I'm always fascinated by that. So if you've followed the podcast and you've seen me interview sports people or rock stars or whatever, like people that are doing really crazy, amazing things, I'm so fascinated by that. And like I said, just the team itself, there's an inspirational story there because the team was so bad and it's overcome so much of the team history. But then you look at the coach, Mike McDonald. This is a guy who was going to work in finance. And then he was giving up. He had done a little bit of coaching, but he was like, I'm going to go work in finance. Somehow got this internship. Uh, was it the Titans? I can't remember who the first team he got an internship with was, but he got this internship and then, he parlayed that into all these different roles until eventually he ends up being the head coach of the Seahawks. And obviously in his second year wins a Super Bowl. So he must know a few things about coaching football. Pretty amazing story. I mean, his work ethic, I think, too, is probably what's really amazing to me because there's some story. I mean, he said this. It's a little bit confusing, but something about like, oh, I only see my kids on like Thursday. I see my kid on Thursday for like 30 minutes a week or so. Like that's, I don't know if that's just like the 5 day work week he's talking about, or like I'm not exactly sure how many hours a week he sees his kid, but it didn't sound like a lot. So I saw him hug his kid after they won the Super Bowl. So maybe now he's going to finally get some time with his son. So, Chewy's saying hello. Hi, Chewy. Want to say hello? Okay. Or you want to leave? All right. Wow. This is what happens when you go live. You got pets and people coming in and out of the live stream, and you can't pause it. So, yeah. So Mike McDonald, his story was interesting. Now, Derek Hall, this is a player. Doesn't matter if you know who he is. Again, it doesn't matter if you're a sports fan. This is a guy who was pronounced dead 23 weeks. I think it was 23 weeks He was a premature baby, so he was born at 23 weeks, and they pronounced him dead. They brought him back to life, put him in the premature unit or whatever, and they were saying like, "Oh, he's not going to make it," and all this stuff, and he's going to have a hard life, and yada yada yada. I mean, the guy goes on to be successful in college, get drafted by the Seahawks, and now win a Super Bowl. Like that's an inspirational story too. That's amazing. That's an amazing thing. That somebody that was not even supposed to live goes on to win a Super Bowl. Amazing. And then you look at our quarterback, Sam Darnold, another comeback, amazing story. Like this guy, I mean, yeah, he was a high draft pick in college, and he was supposed to be really good at USC. He was kind of okay at USC. I don't think he was that great. And then he gets drafted by the Jets, and the Jets, of course, don't know what to do with him. They're terrible, the terrible organization, terrible management. He doesn't do well there. He washes out, ends up, I think he goes to, if it was the 49ers, I think it was the Panthers first and then the 49ers. He said he learned a lot from being on the 49ers and that coach, which I believe because 49ers coach is good. And then he spent a year or two on the Panthers and then ends up being on the Vikings and does really well. And they win whatever it was, like 12, 13 games or something like that, 14 games, 15. It was a lot of games. And the Vikings said, thanks, but no thanks. You lost it in the playoffs. You choked. It's your fault. Get out of my life. And the Seahawks are like, we'll take you. Like, we just had Geno Smith. So Sam Darnold's not looking too bad right now. So yeah, I mean, I was a little skeptical. I'll be the first to admit. I was not like, oh, Sam Darnold's going to win us a Super Bowl. I was like, I don't think he's got what it takes, because he hadn't had what it took his whole career in college and NFL. He always struggled, in the big games. But he learned something, because you could say, oh, no, the Seahawks won the Super Bowl because of the defense and the running game, which is partly true. But I was at that NFC Championship game 2 weeks ago, and we would not have won that game just leaning on the defense and the running game. He won that game for us. He threw over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, I mean, that's a comeback story for sure. For a guy that they said he can't win in the playoffs, he gets choked up. Now he's winning in the NFC Championship game and goes on to win a Super Bowl. Amazing, amazing stuff. So that's an inspirational story to me. Again, I don't care if you like sports or you like the Seahawks or whatever. For someone that, they basically said, he was not going to ever be successful. And then he reached the utmost level of success you can have in that sport. Amazing. So very cool. Another cool story on the Seahawks, wide receiver Cooper Kupp is a guy from Yakima, Washington, was passed over for a scholarship from the two biggest schools in Washington, UW and Washington State. So he ends up going to Eastern Washington. And then you're like, okay, well, of course, like the Seahawks aren't going to be that dumb. They're not going to pass on him in the draft, and of course they do. So the Rams take him, and then he goes on and he wins the Super Bowl, has a great career with the Rams. But then the Rams say, oh, I think we're done with you. We've had enough. And so then finally the Seahawks get smart and pick him up, and he had a great game yesterday too. So just a lot of those kind of stories, those inspirational stories where it's like, people that were down and out. The coach was going to be in finance. Derek Hall wasn't even supposed to be alive as a baby. Sam Darnold was supposed to be a washout at quarterback. Cooper Kupp was washed up as a wide receiver. He was done. And all these guys go on to win a freaking Super Bowl. Like, I think that's really cool and amazing. And, obviously our running back was really good, and that's a cool story. I mean, like he shared the duties with the other running back, but the other guy got hurt, so he had to take on the load, and he lived up to the potential. Obviously, our kicker was amazing, and that's not easy to do, to kick all those field goals under that kind of pressure. He didn't miss one of them. That's amazing. The defense was lights out. That's great. The O-line did a good job. Abe Lucas, who I had on the show, interviewed. You can watch that interview and you can learn all about his story, and that's a really cool interview. I was really proud of that. So yeah, that was the Super Bowl basically. Seahawks won. No offense to the Patriots. They worked really hard too. And that's a great whole story. The coach of the Patriots was fired by the Titans. Again, another guy that's, you're no good. You're not going to win us the big game. You're not going to get us the big game or whatever. And the Titans aren't doing so well right now. And Mike Vrabel took the Patriots to the Super Bowl. Yeah, he didn't win, but I mean, still pretty good to get to that Super Bowl with the team he had. I mean, there were some issues at their O-line, all that stuff. I mean, I think he did a pretty good job as he was coach of the year. So just funny, he got fired from the Titans, and I think they didn't even make the playoffs. I don't even know, did they win like 4 games or 5? I mean, it's crazy. So all these stories, I just love the psychology of sports. I think that is like really cool to study. Again, people at their achieving their highest level. It's amazing to me. I find that really fascinating. And then of course there was the halftime show. So that's always interesting. It was like controversial this year for some reason, I guess. Um it didn't offend me though. I don't speak Spanish, so I don't know. People were saying that some of the songs he was singing was like were really dirty, but I don't know if that was just like internet lies or if it really was the truth. Like it's interesting. I do find it interesting that they didn't have a translation in English, considering a majority of the people watching the Super Bowl are speaking English. So I don't know. It was interesting, but I know they were saying like, oh, it's going to be so terrible, and I didn't think it was. First of all, I don't like the music. I tried to listen to the music before to try to understand what this Bad Bunny guy was, and I think he's a terrible singer, rapper, whatever he does. But the show was really cool because of the set decorations. I thought that was the coolest set design. Whoever that designed that set, they should win some sort of award or something. Like that was insane. I mean, I've gone to so many concerts. I've seen so many live performances. I've seen live performances on TV. I've seen halftime shows. Like that was far and away the coolest set I've ever seen. It was so elaborate and very cool how he walked through, and then he falls through the roof. And if you haven't watched it, just you can turn the sound off, but just watch the walkthrough of the set. It was amazing. I thought that was really cool that the way they did that. I tried to watch some of the other alternate halftime show, the Turning Point one. I like Kid Rock. I like his music better, definitely. But I was just kind of like thinking, like, why are they doing this? Why do they have an alternate halftime show? I guess I just don't. Then there's a Puppy Bowl too. So there's 3 things competing for your attention at halftime. I do remember they used to have the Beavis and Butthead halftime show. Does anyone else remember that? They would do a thing where you turn the channel to MTV and it was Beavis and Butthead. I think I did that, and that was the year that Janet Jackson's nipple showed on the halftime show, and I missed it. And that was before the internet. You couldn't go back and couldn't rewind or whatever. I heard about it and I was like, what is this, like a real thing? Like everyone talked about it and I missed it. I was like, so then I was like, from then on, I'm like, I'm never missing a halftime show. But yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting. First of all, I think I understand why they had Bad Bunny. I think it was purely a marketing thing from the NFL because they're very smart and they're like, how can we make more money? How can we get a wider audience? I know, let's get Puerto Rico to watch the Super Bowl, because I'm guessing Puerto Rico, the ratings for Super Bowl, probably historically not great because I think they're more like soccer lovers. I could be wrong, but I'm guessing that they're like, what if we got Bad Bunny to do the halftime show? And I'm guessing if the people that like Bad Bunny probably just tuned in for the halftime show and then tuned out. I mean, if you're not a Seahawks fan, that Super Bowl was awful. Like it was not a good game. We just dominated most of the game. So it wasn't very exciting. The first half was all field goals. There was no touchdown. So yeah, I don't know, but I think it's interesting is that the Super Bowl's in San Francisco. Why didn't they get Metallica to play? There's probably some other Bay Area artists, but Bad Bunny in San Francisco made no sense. If the Super Bowl was in Miami or Florida, that would make sense. I'd be like, oh, okay, like that's kind of like that Cuban flair. I mean, it's Puerto Rican, but it's like similar, that's South Florida kind of vibe. I think it would have made way more sense. And I just think that's a missed opportunity to have Metallica do the Super Bowl. And they don't have a lot of years left, so it's like, why didn't they just do that? It would have been so cool. But anyways, how many people we got on TikTok here? It says people joined, but I don't know. Is there a total somewhere? I don't know how to see how many people are on here. Anyways, that's cool. This is weird trying to talk to 2 different cameras, but so yeah, Metallica would have been cool. I just find myself with the whole Super Bowl halftime thing. I feel like there was more talk about the halftime show than the game. Like I didn't see a lot of people talking about the game as much. It was more about the halftime show. And if you watch this halftime show, you're a good person. If you watch this one, you're terrible. And I'm getting so burnt. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just getting so burnt out on the politicizing of everything. Everything is political now and divided, and everything's a conspiracy and a psyop. And just, what it's just reminds, it's just a lot of whining. it's a lot of whining and complaining, and just about how politicians are ruining your life, and this is woke or this is not woke or this is racist or not, they're not racist, or I'm just so sick of all of it. Like I just want to, when I watch like entertainment, when I watch sports, it's entertainment. So I just want to be entertained. I just want to relax. I don't want to have to think about, like it was like I felt like I had to, like I was like dealing with like a divorced like family or something. I was like, oh, do I am I gonna have two Christmases this year? Am I having two halftime shows this year? I got to go to mom and dad's halftime show. Oh, because they're divorced now. Like, what is this? This is so like that's really dumb when you think about it. Like, couldn't they do a Super Bowl show that everybody is on board with, that everybody loves, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, we got to get behind this. Like, this is great. Everybody loves." Like, I feel like Metallica. Who wouldn't like Metallica? Come on, like that. They're worldwide. But yeah, so it is what it is, and I think that they. It just made me started thinking about. I guess I'm just not that excited about. I should be like really just ecstatic, right? This my team won the Super Bowl. Like, that's amazing. But I think the problem is, and this is the same thing with the politics and all this crap, is that it's all shit that you can't control, right? Like sports, entertainment, politics, all this stuff, it's things that you have no control over. So yeah, you can be like, "Oh yeah, like we won a Super Bowl." It's like, but I didn't really do anything. Like, I mean, I rooted for the Seahawks. I flew to Seattle for the championship game and I screamed my head off. So, I mean, I guess the crowd noise, I mean, that affects the game a little bit. So I guess I sort of helped, but I supported them, but it's not my Super Bowl. Like, I didn't play on the field. I didn't coach. I didn't scout the players. I didn't have anything to do with the management. I had nothing to do with it. So it's like, it doesn't really feel like I accomplished anything personally. You know what I mean? And I think that's the same with all this, with the political stuff too. It's people that you think that you're a good person if you watch this halftime show or that one or whatever. It's like, okay, but like, you're not really like, I think it's cool for Bad Bunny and I think it's cool for Kid Rock. Like, good for them. Like, they won because they got to do a halftime show and they got money and they had millions of people watching them. And so good for them. But like, for you as a fan, like I think you should be able to watch whichever show you want to watch. You want to watch the Puppy Bowl, watch Puppy Bowl. If you want to go see Wicked 2 and just skip the freaking Super Bowl together, like I think you should be able to do that. I guess the part I don't get is the whole like, I'm gonna go on my Facebook and I'm gonna tell everybody why I'm right, because nobody gives a fuck, right? That's the problem. That's the problem that I'm so sick of. I just recently went back on Facebook because I thought, oh, let me go back and see all the posts about the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl. It's gonna be so positive, and it's like, no, it's the same fucking stupid shit. This is why I left in the first place. So I don't know what I'm gonna do about Facebook. And oh, this is cool. Somebody said, my dad took me to the first game in Dennis Erickson days. Oh, that's so cool, man. I love that. I love that. Yeah, Dennis Erickson. That's old school. People, that's a deep reference, but I get it. And yeah, Beavis and Butthead, I think they would have enjoyed the Metallica halftime show for sure. For sure. Yeah. It's so weird that like we just never had these fights before. And now to see it, it's so stupid. And I think this is what this whole video, this is the theme of this whole video, my own little philosophy that I've come up with, or maybe I'm just copying someone else. I don't know. Maybe this isn't that original, but to me, I feel like the biggest problem in America right now, and maybe the world, but definitely America, is this obsession with things that are out of our control, right? Whether it be sports or politics or even just trying to control other people, that like your spouse or your kids, or like everyone is so worried about things that are out of their control. And I'm not saying that it should be like zero, like that we should not worry about those things at all. Like, I'm still going to watch sports. I'm still going to follow politics. I'm still going to follow entertainment. And, but I think the problem is it's just like, there's so much focus on those things and so little focus on the things that we can control. And that's why I think there's so many problems in this country. Like right now, like just look at kids and depression and things. Like look at, cause they're watching the TikTok. I mean, don't turn off TikTok because I'm giving you the good stuff, but a lot of the TikTok stuff is bad. So, and it's a lot of it is things that you can't control, and it just makes you feel bad about your life and about yourself. So it's like spending time, like spending a large amount of time on social media or TikTok or YouTube or whatever is not usually typically not good for you. Well, even if you're listening to like self-help and positive things, like ultimately you've got to get off the phone and the computer and you've got to go do the things that they're encouraging you to do. Right. So I think self-help things can be very like if you're just so stuck and so depressed and you don't know what to do and you can't get out of bed or you can't get off the couch, boom, put on David Goggins, put on some self-help stuff, put on some positive podcasts or whatever, and you can motivate yourself out of stuff. But eventually you can only listen to it for so long. And David Goggins even talks about this. He's like, you should listen to me. And then he's like, then you need to stop listening to me and you need to go actually do the thing that you're supposed to do. And he'll tell you, he's like, no one needs to tell you what to do. Like, you know what you need to do. Just go do it. Pretty simple, right? So I don't know. That's just my own little philosophy. And I say this because I'm guilty of it myself, right? Like I've spent way too much time on social media and YouTube and podcasts and TV and definitely sports. I get obsessed with sports. Thankfully, I mostly love football, and that's only, once a week. But imagine if I was really obsessed about baseball and there's games. There's what is there 165 games a year of baseball? That's a big time investment. So yeah. So what if I'm just saying, like, what if everybody in this country or the world, what if we spent like 90% of our time focused on improving ourselves and worrying about our own shit, and maybe 5 to 10% worrying about politics, entertainment, and trying to influence people and trying to help, other people and worried about them. But I mean, imagine if we spent 90% of our time just focused on taking care of ourselves, like then we wouldn't have to worry about everybody else because everyone would be doing well. So I don't know if you guys are good at math. Maybe 90%, maybe that's too high, maybe that's too low. But something like a majority of our time was spent trying to improve ourselves. And that's what I'm realize I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start just working more on myself and spending time. I mean, I've been going to the gym and I'm just really focused on my health. And I'm going to try to build up this TikTok and YouTube stuff. And I'm just really going to buckle down and do that. And I think that when you get to that point, I mean, then maybe you can criticize some shit and start saying, this halftime show is better than that halftime show. But if your house is not like spotless and you're not in like perfect shape and you're not emotionally like totally normal and like well adjusted, like I think you need to just shut the fuck up. Right? I mean, if you're 300 pounds and you're criticizing professional athletes, what are you doing? What like spend that time working on yourself, getting in really good shape. Then yeah, if you're like tip top shape, then you can maybe give some advice about professional athletes. If your life is totally organized and you got your shit together, then yeah, then maybe you can start criticizing other people's. But my guess is that a lot of people that are doing the criticizing probably have some things they could change in their own life. So yeah, that's my thing. I don't know how we got to this from the Super Bowl, but I mean, because I think that's what you look at those people that are winning Super Bowls and playing halftime shows, like they're probably doing okay. So we should strive to be more like them and less like the people on the couch criticizing those people. So anyways, that's my 2 cents. I just wanted to go live and talk about it to 3 people, and I don't know how many are on TikTok, but thank you for watching. Wherever you're watching, YouTube, TikTok, my cat's down here, so whatever he's listening to. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And I'm going to start going live more often because, again, I got to work on, building up my channel here. So I appreciate your support. Check out some of my other videos if you have the time and make sure you follow me. Thank you and good night.